Hi friends, hope all of you are doing great. Recently I got a mail from one of my friend asking me of my views about failure. So he asked me, how do you see failures in life? I thought it is a very interesting point and then I did some research on that. I collected my thoughts and here I am today to discuss with all of you what is actually failure, what does it mean in someone's life, and how do we take failures in all our lives. I tried my level best to define failure, and I'm putting this up as a challenge to the entire group or the entire world, whoever is seeing me, to define failure. I tried myself, what is exactly failure? But believe you me, I was not able to define. I always felt failure is a very relative term. What is failure to me may not be failure to you. Or what is failure to you, I may not see it as a failure in that context the way you are seeing. So I always feel that failure is a very, very relative term. When I further I dug deep into that, I always found out that whenever I see failure, I only see one thing, which is learnings. Every failure had a lot of learnings, and those learnings created success. So I thought, when I started defining, I figured out that actually failure is a path to success. Failure is not a destination, and a destination can only be defined. It's very difficult, therefore, to define what is failure. As I was trying to define failure, I actually found out the possible answer to that. I figured out that most of the failures which we say it as failure is actually a pressure from the society. I further figured out that actually society defines failure. Without having due understanding of the person's ability or person's hard work, the society just defines the failure. Let me give you some examples. A student dies by suicide. Reason? He could not qualify an exam. Now there can be n number of reasons why he could not. It may not be his failure. The reasons could be varied. One, he wanted to study probably physics, but somehow there were plenty of pressures across the corner and he studied chemistry, and it was not to his liking. Someone wanted to study arts and they are studying probably finance. That can be one of the reasons. Reason number two. So the reason in this case is subject. So how can you term it as his failure? If there are 10,000 students or many times 10 lakh students appearing for an exam and the number of seats are 18,000. So it's quite natural that only 18,000 people will succeed. Can we term the rest of them as failure? Only the society terms it as failure. You have a fantastic love affair. You fail. Is it because of you? It may be a compatibility issue. It may be that your partner is not faithful. There can be a number of reasons, but again, how can we decide that this is a failure of the concerned person? In my management consulting business, I meet a lot of clients, and many times, in spite of my hard work, in spite of me understanding that I know the subject better, I find my competitors getting the job. And this is always makes me feel or makes me confused whether this is my failure or the failure of the person or the organization whose actually awarding the job to someone else. So through all these discussions, understanding, I could only come to conclusion that failure is a very relative term. It is very difficult for anyone to explain or understand. And failure is not a destination. Failure is a journey. And my friends, I would like all of you to keep this sentence written wherever you want. Students, if you are studying, in front of a desk. People who are working, again in front of your work desk. Failure is a journey and not a destination. Most of the times I figure out that the word failure is attached to people because they do not have a plan B. Once we have a plan B ready, if I am not able to succeed in plan A, I move to plan B. Because in this ever-changing world, we'll always have to remember that having plan B and plan C is very, very important. And hence, if I'm not able to do as per the requirement, or I'm not able to complete, or in other words, I would say, if I'm not successful in plan A, I switch over to plan B and plan C. Now, if we all think about that line, that failure is a journey and not a destination, let me tell you that it is okay to fail. In fact, it is very important to fail. There are n number of examples in this world which will tell you that it's okay to fail. I can give an example of Mr. Marwan Atapattu, who was a captain of Sri Lankan team. You can do a Google search of how many times he got chance in the national team and how many times he failed. India recently landed their moon mission Chandrayaan-3 in the South Pole. Do you know? About 2 years back, the same mission failed. And that failure paved the way for success. So these examples are very, very clear that failure is a path to success. So failure is a journey, a continuous journey. When do you actually fail? You actually fail when there is not enough hard work, there is not enough sincerity into the job. There is not enough mind into the job. That is the only when you fail in the process. So, coming back to that, I always keep saying, I came to the conclusion that it's absolutely okay to fail. How do we now take this message back to the world? Start early. I would request all the parents in the world to teach their kids, starting from the very beginning. My dear sons and daughters, it is okay to fail. Failure and success are the two sides of same coin, and it's a part of life. Sometimes you'll fail, sometimes you'll succeed. So be prepared. I think this is something, this teaching, this thought process has to be ingrained in a kid's mind from the very beginning, so that when they grow up, when they lead their life, they're not perturbed by the failures. Come out of the social pressure. Many times, the society is terming you as failure without knowing what is that you're going to do. Most of the time, people just generally say you failed. So, please do not bother. Come out of the social aspects. Come out of this social thoughts, society's thoughts that you have failed. Make your plan B and plan C ready. Get into this habit of getting into details, and thereby, if plan A does not work, get into plan B and plan C. Most important aspect is, please discuss. For God's sake, please discuss. If you think you're failing, do not keep it to yourself. Discuss with your superiors, discuss with peers, discuss with your colleagues, Discuss with your friends, discuss with your girlfriend, whoever you want to discuss with your family. But for God's sake, discuss. Discussion many times solves a lot of problems. And as we always say, that if you discuss a problem, if you share a problem, your mental load is reduced. Therefore, discuss. I'm sure, like me, many people think that it's okay to fail. And I would say that we need to take this sentence outside, everywhere, that failure is just a journey, it's not a destination, and therefore it is okay to fail. Thank you.